You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Hey, y'all, this is Jenny Earhart with the Southern Sisters Radio Show. We are moving to SunTrust Park. That's right. The new Southern Sisters Radio Studio is in the Battery, Atlanta. How would you like to be a guest and come visit us in our brand new studio at SunTrust Park? All you have to do is email us at radio@southernsistershome.com. We have a fantastic new studio, and we would love for you to come see it.
My friends, welcome to When's World, and there's absolutely no better way to kick off the show than with our Southern sister, Jenny Earhart. Jenny, welcome back. How you been?
I've been good, Joey. How about you?
Been phenomenal. The holidays have come and gone. Valentine's Day. I heard the last show you did, and I actually watched it on Facebook Live, which is my favorite personal way to see and listen to your show, Southern Sisters, and of course, at Southern Sisters Home on Facebook, and then your website, southernsistershome.com.
You can catch it all. Oh, right. You know, and we're doing all of our broadcasting from our Southern Sisters studio at the Battery at SunTrust Park. So there's just a lot of energy over there. I think it's kind of rubbing off on us as well.
You know, Jenny, the last couple of weeks, we've kind of had this fluctuation of temperature, right? So it was really cold and rainy, and today it's warm. But in my mind, it's still like that midwinter.
There's a little bit of slump in the season. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of beyond Christmas. Now it's that kind of that long gray time period there before spring with you kind of get the winter doldrums. You know, as far as I'm concerned, even if the weather isn't as cold as it could be, it still feels like winter to me. And so I still have an appetite for that good winter, stick-to-your-ribs kind of comfort food.
One of the best things about the recipes that you give us, it's something so easy that even I can do it. Because I'm a peanut butter and jelly kind of guy. When I have to cook, it better be simple because I'm going to mess it up if it's not.
Well, there's a time and a place for a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Don't get me wrong. But on a night like tonight, I like that nice, warm comfort food, the kind that cooks in the oven all day long.
Nice.
And that's what this recipe is, Joey, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's not difficult at all. It does take a little bit of time. So what I would suggest doing is getting it in the oven in the morning, and by dinner time, it'll be ready. And it couldn't be easier. It's a slow-cooked pork roast with roasted apples. It's going to make your house smell heavenly. And now this cut of meat takes a long time to cook, but the prep work is minimal, and the results are absolutely outstanding. What you end up with is a super crispy skin and meltingly tender meat. Pair that with these roasted apples. It's to die for.
How do I get started?
Okay, all you got to do is you need 1 9-pound skin-on, bone-in pork shoulder. Now, I love every word that I just said. Couldn't be better. You're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Using a sharp knife, you're going to score the pork skin in a cross-hatch pattern all over the top of it, okay? You're going to set the pork in a large roasting pan, skin side up. You are going to generously, and I mean generously, cover the outside of the pork with salt and pepper. Just all over. Just kind of rub the salt and pepper all into that pork roast, right? You're going to roast the pork for about 30 minutes until it's lightly browned on top, right, because you're at 400 degrees. Then you're going to reduce the oven temperature to 325 degrees, and you're going to roast that pork for about 6.5 hours longer. It's just nice and slow. Nothing to it. Just leave it alone. Don't mess with it. Let it hang out in the oven for about 6.5 hours, and the pork is going to be tender, and the skin is going to be super crispy. So when it comes out, you want to transfer the roast to a carving board and just let it hang out and rest for about 30 minutes. Now, meanwhile, on a large baking sheet, you're going to chop up about 6 baking apples. You can use Gala or Granny Smith. You're going to toss those apples in about 1/4 of a cup of extra virgin olive oil, scatter them all over the baking sheet, sprinkle them with about a teaspoon of cinnamon, and generously salt them with a little salt and pepper, right? You're going to roast the apples for about 30 minutes. Maybe toss them once during the cooking process. They're going to get nice and browned and slightly tender, and then you're going to scoop them up. You want to serve these apples alongside the pork. But let me tell you what you can do with the pork. You pull off the pork skin that's on top. It's going to be kind of crispy, and coarsely chop it up, right? You're chopping up the pork skin. And then using a couple of forks, you're going to pull that pork roast apart. Just tear it up into large pieces. You want to toss out any fat or bones that may be there. Transfer your pork to a platter. Scatter the top of it with that chopped pork skin, which, by the way, is going to be so amazing because it's going to have all that yummy salt and pepper on it, right? And then serve it alongside the roasted apples.
I'm a Granny Smith kind of guy because I like that sour appeal, but which one, in your opinion, works best with the pork?
I personally would go with the Granny Smith for the same reason that you stated. You like that nice tart flavor. It will sweeten up, though, as you roast it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you've got all that yummy cinnamon on top, and then you got all the pork juices and all of that. In my opinion, this is the perfect midwinter comfort food. You got the sweet and the savory going on. It's fabulous.
I absolutely love this. And in case anybody missed any portion of the recipe or the directions, they're available southernsistershome.com. And of course, that's where not only this recipe, but hundreds, if not thousands of other recipes. Y'all, she has some of the most amazing merch on sale. And from what I understand, free shipping for orders over $70. Is that still correct?
That's right. We do. Yes, we do. Every kind of imaginable fun towel with every kind of sassy Southern saying you can think of, we have it on a Flour Sack towel. These are great towels. They're usable. They're highly absorbent. They're not just cute, but they're actually functional, you know? So between that and the recipes, you're right, those are on the blog on southernsistershome.com.
Jenny, always a pleasure to have you in One's World. I can't wait to chat next week.
Me too. Thanks, Joey.
Break. We're keeping it 100 with Radio Griff, the gobbler himself.
I always keep it 100, my dogs.
You really do, homeboy.
Gobble, gobble, GwinnettGobblers.com.
Redirect to Twitter, which will soon be revealing a new profile picture.
Yes, you agreed to the Twitter.
I'm agreeing to the Twitter, and I thought about it under the circumstance that our initial bet was if the Eagles lost the Super Bowl, yours truly here would have to adorn a profile picture of Radio Griff, the gobbler himself's choosing, for 2 months on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, well, the same for you, and we ended up agreeing to those terms.
And I agreed to that, knowing the Patriots would win the game.
Right.
For some reason on that day, the Patriots just weren't the better team that one day.
Right.
So the Eagles happened to win that game that they call the Super Bowl.
Right.
So for some reason, I lost the bet, even though the Patriots are probably still the better team.
Right.
But I did lose the bet on that day. We agreed to.
That we agreed to.
Yeah.
That's one way of seeing it. But Griff wanted to back out. He wanted to weasel out of the deal.
It's almost a better deal for you.
We're men of the people.
Men of the people.
So let's explain to them why you don't want at all to be affiliated with the Philadelphia Eagles on Facebook.
I don't want it on Facebook. I want it on Twitter because I have more followers on Twitter. We always talk about Twitter on here. We talk about Radio Griff, GwinnettGobblers.com.
Good point.
I have thousands of followers on Twitter.
Thousands. I have dozens of followers.
I have thousands. So I think it would be, I'm kind of doing one for you.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it that way.
Facebook is just friends and like old people, old family members.
Right.
And teachers from 5th grade.
2 months of Twitter, and I brought the hat in.
Plus Twitter's like, I don't care.
I threw it in. I did the lice shampoo this morning, so there's no more lice
is there
in it.
lice in it?
No, not anymore. I did the shampoo.
With a bird on it.
We're going to take the picture today.
Okay.
And 60 days from now. All right, well, 58 days. Let's just call every month February. So we're going to take the picture today.
I will wear a Philadelphia Eagles hat in my new profile picture.
And I'm going to check that profile every day. And if I catch you
every day,
I'm going to check it. And if I catch you, here are the terms.
Okay.
If I catch you weaseling out of this in any form or fashion by changing your profile picture, not your cover photo, not any of these nonsensical terms that you kids use these days. If you change your profile picture before 58 days from February 16th, because you can start tomorrow, then you have to wear it for an extra month.
Okay.
So you'll be at 3 months, then 4 months, and so on and so forth.
Okay, I'll just block you on Twitter, and you'll never know.
You can't block all my accounts. I have a lot of fake. I'm like Kevin Durant. I have like 5 accounts. I do my trolls.
Oh my!
That's a good point. I didn't think about it. You could block me. I should have come up with a better plan.
Yeah. It's easier to block on Twitter than Facebook. I'll mute you, or I don't know.
Do you want to do it right now while we're on air? This is like you're here,
live.
people.
Oh my goodness!
Do you want to move that?
Take my Braves hat off.
Do you want to? Yeah, take that loser hat off. The bunch of bloopers waiting to happen.
You have a small head.
Do you want to have a? No, I don't.
Do I have lice?
No. That's 7 3/8, baby.
I'm 7.5.
Are you? That's what she said. Hey-o. Hey, you want to turn it? You want to get out in front of the religious roundtable sign?
Should I go over here?
Yeah, let's do it in front of that.
With the microphone. We're live on the radio right now.
Here we go. We're doing this live, folks. Really, is a thumbs down necessary? All right, ready?
Yeah.
We'll do one vertically and one horizontally. See, I feel like you're hiding your identity. We're like one of those pairs of glasses and a mustache trying to escape. All right, ready? Perfect.
Okay.
All right, so now that we're done with that, we can get to the issue at hand. Lots of topics, folks. We haven't done this
Let me
and
throw this in the trash can.
So many.
Goodness gracious.
That's a hat of a winner. How dare you? Oh, goodness. One day only, right, according to you, that one Sunday.
One Sunday.
Well, let's do this topic wheel.
Wheel.
Hauled it up the elevator. That poor elevator endured an extra 39 pounds besides my fat rear. So here we go. You want to give it a rip this time?
I'd love to.
All right, let's do it.
I just ate lunch.
Winter Olympics. Evil. Jimmy Garoppolo. Valentine's Day. Daytona 500, baby. A lot of left turns.
Daytona 500 this weekend. Yeah.
Are you excited?
You know, here's the thing about NASCAR. I've been a NASCAR fan my whole life, growing up in the South, gone to lots of races. I've been to Daytona, Atlanta, Talladega, go to Dega sometimes. I get real excited this time of the year for NASCAR. Daytona 500, like, they kind of do it backwards. They start off with basically their biggest event. It's like the Super Bowl. It's a huge race. Everyone's into it. I'm a big Kevin Harvick fan.
Kevin Hart?
Harvick. Yeah, okay. He's taller and white.
He's taller and whiter.
And balding. I get real excited. I look up like merchandise online. I'm like, I need to get a new Harvick hat. I need to get a new Harvick hat. And I'm all into it. Sunday, Daytona 500 comes. I'll turn it on for a minute, kind of pumped. Probably fall asleep watching the race. And then I might go to the Atlanta race, which is usually the week after or, pretty soon after the 500. And that's pretty much it. Then I lose interest in NASCAR, and I kind of follow it. I look at the results after the fact.
How long? I know it's 500 laps. How long is
500
each lap?
miles.
So it's 500 miles. Is each lap 1 mile?
Well, at different tracks, it's different.
But at Daytona?
Daytona, I believe they do 200 laps.
Okay, so
however the math works out there.
Right. I can't.
And
do
I
that
know
math.
in Atlanta they do 325 laps. I think.
Okay.
That equal 500 miles.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, so that's talking NASCAR.
Well, here's the thing, and as somebody who I have an interest in the people who find interest in NASCAR, like
Well, it's interesting.
But there is a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of strategy.
Oh, there is.
You have a team. Is this Kevin Harvick fella? Is he a Ford or Chevy kind of guy?
Well, see, he was a Chevy. Then his team last year joined Ford, and I'm a Chevy guy.
Isn't that like the?
I got my big Chevy truck out there. I'm
the
a big Chevy
Montagues
guy.
and the Capulets. I mean, really, they're like butting heads every year.
Yeah, but these days, the way the cars are, it's basically just a sticker.
Oh.
All the cars are so like basically the same and model, whatever.
Now, what does his onesie have on it? Like Taco Bell?
Well,
like,
believe it or not, he's Mr. Jimmy John.
Is he Mr. Jimmy
John's? He's freaky fast.
Is he freaky?
He's freaky fast, baby. Unlike my Jimmy John's order today, which took about 50 minutes.
Oh, and they put onions on it.
They're next door. Oh, I like onions.
Do you like?
I know
did
you probably
extra?
don't like them because I have to talk to you right now. And
I don't mind the smell of
the onion
onions.
breath blows on you.
My dad used to make bagels every Sunday, and he used to put like heaps of onions on his. I'm used to onion breath. It doesn't bother me at all.
I'm gonna go get some coffee after this. I'll have coffee and onion. And I'm gonna go home and give my wife
Now
a
you
big
crossed the
kiss
line.
right after I smoke a cigarette.
Come here, honey. Let's go watch the
But
Daytona
NASCAR
500.
it's the perfect thing to turn on to have a nice Sunday afternoon nap. I don't know if you go to church on Sunday,
No.
or after you go grocery shopping on Sunday, you're just hanging out in the afternoon. Put on the NASCAR race. As you hear that little vroom, vroom,
Gentlemen,
vroom,
rev your
vroom,
engines.
vroom. It's kind of that. It has some white noise thing going for it. Kind of easy to doze off. You wake up, you watch the last lap. The last lap's always exciting,
Right.
So there you go.
So it's like the fourth quarter of any game.
It's perfect Sunday napping sport.
Okay, very cool. Well, those are all the questions I had about NASCAR. So, all right, I'm going to take a rip at this topic. Will. Here we
Okay,
go.
okay. Let's talk about something that matters.
Daytona 500. We already talked about that. Valentine's Day traditions. I kind of have a weird one. Jimmy G, Mr. GQ. By the way, I'd like to thank Mr. Garoppolo for the fantastic Valentine that he sent via Griff on Twitter.
I said Jimmy Garoppolo wanted me to pass it along to you.
That I'm a 10.
That you're a 10 because his number is 10. Get it? Get it? Get it?
I got it.
Jimmy Garoppolo, hey, come on, you have to admit, probably the best looking person to ever play football.
I mean, if I was a homosexual, I would let him have intercourse with me. But I'm not, so I won't.
So Jimmy Garoppolo, what do you want to talk about? The greatest quarterback of all time.
He signed an extension.
5 years.
5
He's
years.
our quarterback.
Oh, my
I think
goodness.
3 years guaranteed money or something. Almost
Okay.
$90 million.
90 mil.
Highest paid player in NFL history.
Undefeated.
Jimmy Garoppolo, undefeated. He's never lost a game. He's the best quarterback of all time.
Well, all right.
And he's on my team.
Let's
He's
talk
never
about
lost.
that. Let's talk about that. Minimum attempts, right? So
7-0.
So with the
He
notion
beat
of
the Jags. He beat the Rams. What else do you want the man to do?
I
He's a
want him to
winner.
beat the Eagles.
All he does is win.
I want him to play the Eagles next year.
Let's do it.
In the NFC Championship. But Jimmy Garoppolo, the savior of the Niners, I know you're excited. I would be too. We have two franchise quarterbacks of the future on our team.
Okay, yeah.
So we're doubling up. We're double fisting. We got beer 1 and beer 2 as
but
we're watching.
even combined, they're not as good looking as Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh no,
no!
You got that ginger with terrible acne, Carson Wentz, and Nick Foles resembles John Heater from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, he does.
But both again very attractive in their own godlike way. They're men of God. Jimmy Garoppolo does not seem like he fears the Lord at all. He has no fear of the Lord.
I think he does.
But he doesn't tweet about it, so it doesn't count.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
If you don't tweet about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I know that you don't care about your significant other if you don't give me this 4-paragraph dialogue about how you met and how you love
on
each other?
Valentine's Day, I thought about that.
Uh-huh. Did you creep me? Did you creep me on Facebook to see if I posted something?
No, I didn't look at you, but
Okay.
I don't pay. I'm very narcissistic. I only look at my own feed. Like, oh man, that's a good looking person right there.
Damn right.
On Valentine's Day, though, I thought about doing the typical post. And I thought about it's like my other guy friends really don't who are I consider kind of normal dudes.
Right.
Don't really do that. They don't need to do a post. Like they'll still post on Instagram or whatever. But they're not necessarily, they don't feel the pressure to do it on Valentine's Day to be like, oh, I love my wife, I love my girlfriend.
Valentine's.
And I've done it some years. I post a picture of my wife and the kids and stuff. I didn't do it this year. I didn't want to be cliche. I want to be different. I don't want to be like everyone else. You're scrolling through your feeds this past week.
You'd think I'd hate my wife because I didn't post anything.
There are paragraphs about, when I first met you, I love you, all this nonsense.
I feel like they're kind of overcompensating in some ways, right?
Oh, that's a total fact.
I mean, it's an
That's a
understatement,
fact.
right? I mean, it's like I need to prove to the world to show them more than direct messaging or texting.
The longer the caption, the more they're compensating.
So the longer the caption, the shorter the tenure of their relationship. So the longer the story of how they met and all the sweet things that they do for each other.
Like, you have to retell the whole love story and everything they've ever done.
They're on the brink of divorce. I think it's fair to say that the divorce lawyers will be contacted within the next week or so.
I expect all chicks. I know we're getting in a weird, especially during these Me Too days. I don't know if it's okay to talk about this. My wife posted something on Valentine's about me and the kids, whatever. It was short and sweet. Yeah. I'll give her that. Chicks are going to do it. You can't stop them. But yeah, like you said, the longer it is, the longer that caption gets.
Are you trying to convince?
Right, yeah.
Right. Are you convincing me or you? Like, by posting, I love my wife. I love my wife. I love, I really have questions. So if you're one of these people and you're throwing your radio out the window,
so I might post something like later tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just out of the blue.
Right.
Like 5 days after Valentine's. Hey, I love my wife. That's it.
Or be one of these poor saps that gets like the T-shirt that says "I love my wife."
This is a real story.
Oh,
this is a real story.
Real life.
I meant to tell my wife about this. I forgot. I'm just now remembering. On Valentine's Day, we were down near SunTrust Park. We went to a pizza place over there to eat. Took the kids. Pizza kids, Valentine's, it's perfect.
Sure.
At baseball stadiums there too. I'm walking around the complex. Walking to some shops and stuff, and I see a couple walking on, Valentine's night.
No.
Oh gosh, they're wearing like basically not matching shirts, but complementing shirts. Mm-hmm.
Use his loosely, because his are in the freezer.
His said LO and hers said VE, so together they spelled love, and they were walking around holding hands, just walking around like that. I mean, bro.
V-E.
L-O.
I'm just trying to think, like, if they decided if you wanted to be a gentleman and walk on the side of the sidewalk that's facing traffic, it would be velo.
Isn't that like a biking or...
It's just like the Strava app where you get to tell everybody in the world how long you rode your bike yesterday.
Right.
Because, again, it only counts if you let other people know about your physical activity.
Or like your social media fast or whatever you're doing.
Right. I'll be back after Lent.
Right. Saw a lot of that this past week.
This is in Monroe.
Would you wear those shirts with your wife? LOVE, like
no,
going matching?
my wife would kick me in the nuts if I ever... I'm more sappy than my wife. She's like, God, you're such a sap. Like, we'll watch This Is Us together, and I'll start crying, and she's like, get it together. God.
Like, I don't know.
Go get me a beer.
I feel...
So I grab her a beer.
I feel weird, like, wearing, like, the same... I don't know. If we're both going to a Braves game, we both have, like... She has a chick Braves jersey on, and I have a male Braves jersey on.
Right.
Like a male cut. She has a female cut. I feel weird about that. Even though we're going to a game where it's acceptable to kind of match, I'm still weirded out about that, let alone LOVE or, people go to Disney World or whatever and do the his, hers shirts and all this.
Goodness. There's no identity. It's like... This is the biggest mistake, and I think this is the leading cause of divorces, is that a lot of people, true story, lose their individuality when they get married because of stuff like this. Like, we're told nowadays in modern day culture that once you get married, you no longer have a personality, two become one. In some ways, yes, but you are still Radio Griff, and that's Lady Griff.
Yeah.
And when the gobbler wants to watch 500 miles of NASCAR in a Chevy, by God, the gobbler's going to watch some NASCAR
and fall asleep
and drink some Natty Light
and drink some Diet Dr. Pepper.
Drink some Diet Dr. Pepper
and some non-grain chips.
But there's so much caffeine in Diet Dr. Pepper. How do you fall asleep during that?
Oh, I just need the caffeine just to stay alive.
Wow.
Let alone have extra energy. The key is being alive. It runs through my veins.
So what do you want to do? You want to spin it one more time?
Let's do it one more time.
All right. There's a hijinks on this wheel. All right, here we go.
Uh-oh.
And we are going to spin the wheel, but we're going to do it on demand. Check it out on wensworld.com. Stay with us. We got a whole lot more coming your way. You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@KLRNradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Hey, y'all, it's Jenny Earhart from the Southern Sisters Radio Show. Have you checked out our website, southernsistershome.com? We have the most gorgeous array of gourmet flour sack towels. They will look fabulous in your kitchen, and they're complete with all sorts of Southern sayings, designs. Go to our website and check us out, southernsistershome.com, and guess what? We have a promo going on right now. 30% off your order. Just put in promo code SISTERS at checkout. Also, free shipping on all U.S. orders.
More When's World coming up right after we pay the gas bill.
How the hell do they know that I got gas?
Getting woke with the Wens and the voice.
Getting woke, getting woke.
I'm sure there's some hashtag associated with that.
Getting woke.
Getting woke means
that you are becoming more aware of a situation, that your eyes are opening to something that perhaps you stuck your head in the sand like an ostrich before, but now you've decided to pull your head out of the sand, and now you're, quote, woke.
So this particular edition of Getting Woke with the Wens and the voice here has to do a lot with social media around this time of year, Valentine's Day, right? And we both woke up last Wednesday to see posts galore from people that just wanted to show their appreciation publicly for their better halves and let us all know with numerous hashtags how important that other person is to them. Not to make it a personal message, because why on earth would you write a note, type a letter, an email, smoke signal to your better half about how you feel about them? The better way to do it is to let the whole world know, because that's only when it really counts, right?
Can I just say that I hate social media? I absolutely despise what social media has become. And it's for some people that have to feel like, and it's either one of two things. You're either overcompensating for the fact that you really don't feel this way, but if you put it down on social media and everybody likes it and puts a little thumb up, then, well, everybody knows I love my hubby. Or maybe that you're just not getting attention, or both. I don't know. But
right.
It's what happened to a Hallmark card? This ridiculous nonsense of having to go on and virtue signal, if you will, to the world about everything. I don't want to see that, and that's why I got off of social media pretty much altogether a couple of years ago. I don't do the Facebook thing at all.
Yeah, and people, I think we're at this point in society where people take it personally. If, like you said, you don't react, because now there are numerous reactions. There used to just be a like. Now there's a like, a sad, an angry with a red face. There's a ha-ha.
But why do I need my, friends? And let's be honest, most of the people that are our, quote, friends are just acquaintances or coworkers,
right,
or people we haven't seen in 30 years since high school or whatever. Why do we need their approval? Why, to me, a Valentine's Day should be something intimate between you and the person you love.
I 100% agree.
I mean, why does that have to be public? So
one thing you won't see is me posting about my wife, because I just tell her. I told her this morning how much she means to me.
Imagine that. You mean one-on-one communication? Wow.
I know, right?
That's old school of you. But here's the thing. She doesn't feel the need that you're not doing something by not doing it on social media. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there may be some people, well, you didn't, say happy birthday to me on my Facebook page, or you didn't post. And I would imagine that some partners probably feel that way, that they feel left out or something.
When did this start? I mean, because social media has been here for some time. I mean, it didn't begin with Facebook. We had MySpace back in the day. It's flipped the script, right? Because now if you're not posting about your better half or everything you feel or see, and obviously it's the highlight reel of our lives. Nobody really posts about the diarrhea they had, actually and symbolically.
Right.
In life. If you don't post about it, then you're not really living.
Yeah, right. Right. I mean, so if you're off of social media, you are the whole FOMO thing. And, I've got to be connected to everybody in every second. And I've got to be honest with you, I am so much happier that I don't know about everybody's life, good and or bad.
Yeah.
I don't need to know. I've got enough going on in my own life and my own circle of friends, the people that I care about and that I want to stay in contact with. Well, guess what? I'm a phone guy to talker. I don't, I don't even really like texting other than just, hey, can you do? Yes. Okay. Things that can be handled. But I'm a communicator, and I grew up talking on the phone, and I still enjoy that.
I got to tell you, man, this is why we get together from time to time. Not nearly enough. I think this is the beginning. As we're entering into the beginnings of spring, we're going to be talking about the blossoming bud of Chris Monroe's fan in the flames of Tinder, perhaps.
Maybe.
Since we're here.
Yeah.
And this is for just us, because nobody's really listening to this show. Let's get real.
Are you kidding me? I was about to say the reason I'm not on the show so much is you and your producers and your agents are always booking people now. I come by the Wins World Compound Studio here in Buckhead, and I'm like, Joe, can I have a minute of your time? I'm busy. I'm recording, So
Lois,
get the ruler.
Next time I decide where the route is. But seriously, man, these are the kinds of chats that you won't hear elsewhere. And Chris Monroe has been a staple to the Atlanta community for over 2 decades. And, it's the stuff that you won't hear on his traffic segments. For instance, we've been talking as of late about a situation that you're dealing with. And feel free to, if you want to deflect, if you want to go elsewhere with this, we can. But I think somebody could probably benefit from you sharing your recent experience that you've had.
The change of heart of a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, no, I've been seeing someone for a little while and someone that, I'm fond of and she's fond of me. And, when you get to be my age, dating's a little bit different. I mean, she has kids and she's been divorced before and I've never been married. I don't have kids. So to me, in my mind, I'm still like 21 and just dating. So, but she's decided that she wants to follow God completely and not have intimacy anymore. She's decided to close off that shop, if you will.
Right.
And that's a difficult thing to take, because I do care about her.
I've always been one of those people that have tried to be the best person I can be. I mean, I'm a filthy sinner, don't get me wrong. But I feel like once you cross that line, it's almost impossible, or actually impossible, to abstain. Like it's easy to not do it if you've never done it. But once you've done it, it's like, how do you pretend that you don't remember how good it is?
Yeah, that's toothpaste that you can't put back in the tube.
Right.
That's just something you can't do.
How are you holding up with that, man? It's been, 3 weeks?
It's been a couple of weeks. I mean, and we're talking and we still enjoy each other's company. But I'll be honest with you, I think that her defenses will eventually break down.
Bring it back to the Song of Solomon.
And look, I'm not going to lie. It does kind of make it a little bit hot because it makes it kind of a challenge.
Oh,
again.
It's taboo also.
Yeah,
you feel like it's you versus God in some ways, right?
Yeah, and
in an indirect way.
And right. Who's gonna
win?
The voice or God?
I take the big guy by 3. Baker's dozen.
So, and she even said, you can even have another. I don't want this, but if you want another girl on the side, to take care of that.
Do you think she'd really be okay with that?
She wouldn't be,
right?
But she'll go back and forth on it, and then I'll say, well, I'm going to be out with. Okay, I changed my mind.
Right, Stan, watch Adventures in Babysitting with me.
Yeah,
Elizabeth Shue. Here's one of my really crushes. I got to tell you,
right,
yeah, it's hot. Your vulnerability, Chris. I mean, it's awesome, and I really do think people can relate to what you're going through. I know I could back in the early days of when I was dating my wife. Like, we were both trying to take the straight and narrow, and people are people, and I think very few couples are actually able to abstain before marriage nowadays.
Well, and we even talked about this. I think it would be different if we were engaged. And this happens with a lot of couples, especially couples that are Christ following and are trying to live by the exact word of God. Say, okay, we're getting married in 8 months. Let's abstain from sex until we get married. That is something I could probably say, okay, I am
because you have a goal in sight. There's a finish line. Yeah.
But neither of us has plans to marry anytime soon. I just don't. That's not where I feel this is. So that means I'm in purgatory indefinitely, or
tough, man.
Females.
I mean, and I've said this time and time again. If it weren't for the gay sex, I would totally be gay. Because think about it. What do dudes do? We hang out. We play video games. We go see movies. We bro it up. We go play basketball or football, whatever.
Listen, if you took the sexual component out of men and women, they would never.
No, there's no reason.
They would never hang out. We would go out of our way to avoid them. Yeah. I mean, that's just honest.
It is true.
And you talk about the vulnerability. I think as you get older, you start to. I don't know. You start to become like, that's who I am. It's okay if the world knows. I just don't care.
Well, not only that, but the stuff that you're talking about, really, I'm telling you, there's somebody out there that's like, man, I thought I was the only one dealing with this.
Well, no, you're never the only one dealing with anything. I mean, it's sometimes this lonely world, even with all the social media that we have and our 18,000 friends on Facebook, and look at all the likes I got today.
Who I'd avoid at Target if I saw them.
Exactly.
Seriously.
And I've gotten to that point, man. I don't know if it's like a get off my lawn old man thing setting in, and or what. I'm 45, so I'm not, I'm not ancient yet. But dude, I just don't like people in general.
I like what Prager says. I love humanity. I just don't like people.
I don't like people.
And there's a lot of truth to that, man. I mean, people in general are.
It's because the ugly side of people has been, and going back to the first part of the segment is I think people's ugliness has reared itself on social media. And not to say that social media isn't something that's a tool and something that was fun. I mean, I remember, I got late to the MySpace page. I mean, I think it was already starting to die by the time I actually created a page. And then finally, I finally got a Facebook page. I was like, oh my God, I haven't heard from you in 20 years, blah, blah, or 15, whatever, since high school. And it was kind of cool. And then you could check and see, hey, I'm in Aruba. Oh, look at this. This is kind of cool. But I think the novelty's worn off for a lot of people. And there have been more and more studies that have come out that said a lot of people's unhappiness is directly linked to that. And that's why I think, people hide behind their Twitters and some of the vitriol on both sides of the aisle, but especially more on the liberal side and the progressives, it's just awful.
And my friends, we are up against a hard clock, but we are going to dig in deeper. But we're going to do it on demand. WenzWorld.com. WENZ World.com is where you'll find the rest of this chat with the great Chris Monroe. Find him on Twitter at Atlanta Traffic. More When's World coming up.
Hey everyone, everyone. This is Jenny Earhart with the Southern Sisters radio program. Tune in to our show every Saturday at noon on AM 920, where we talk about life, love, happiness, lots of Southern food, and Southern culture in general. You can also catch our show live on Facebook, so check out our videos at Southern Sisters with Jenny Earhart. Southern Sisters Radio, the show for Southern women and the men who adore them.
What's going on, Wen's World? Thanks so much for taking the time to listen to this show. I wanted to spend some time and give some respect and pay homage to those who lost their life this last week in Florida on Valentine's Day in that school shooting. And we recorded a segment the day following said event with my friends Nick Bean and Rebecca Hollis, a couple compadres that I work with. One of the toughest things that I found in life is actually listening to those that I don't necessarily agree with when it comes to politics, culture, and society and its values. But this is exactly what we all did for and with each other this last week. And I hope you can enjoy this and take something from it. I know I did. Thank you so much. God bless. We're going to have the elephant in the nation chat right now. And with us is the incomparable Nick Bean. Welcome to Wen's World.
Thank you. Is incomparable a good word?
Yeah, because you're very unique.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Of course, it's always fantastic to have a lady's perspective, and that's why we brought the great Rebecca Hollis.
Hello.
in. And folks, as you know, we had some terrible incidents go down in South Florida, just outside of Fort Lauderdale this last week. And I just think it's healthy and positive to talk about these things in an honest, open, and candid way. And everybody has a different opinion. And I think all of us come from different places, raised by different people. I think it's very important to get perspective, even of those that we may not agree with. And Nick was telling his story before we turned the mics off, so I don't want to slow his roll and kill the momentum. So, Nick, I'd love to get your perspective on what's going on.
So here's the deal, and Joey, you can feel with me on this one. You have a son, right? And Rebecca, I don't know. Do you have any kids?
We have a fur baby. We have a dog,
which is just as important. Not to take anything away from that, but I have one of my own, and I have 2 stepkids. And after hearing about what happened in Florida with the shooting, first off, I think the worst thing is, and I think all 3 of us in this room can probably agree, if we're being 100% honest, is when you pulled up on your phone and the notification came through, or you happened to see it on your feed or whatever it was, there's a mass shooting in Florida, multiple shots. Let's be fair here. Everyone probably went, another one.
I was more like, not again.
Right. It's awful, but are you surprised?
No, not really. It's the first initial one that we had with Columbine. That was the.
And how long ago was that?
That was in '99. I remember I was in 8th grade, and that rattled the nation. And it's like, how does that happen? But now that I think I saw a report that I think 30 plus have already happened just in 2018.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling, and yet we're so desensitized by it. It's like, okay, here we go again, and it's crazy.
It doesn't make any sense to me that we've become used to this kind of stuff, right? So when you have your kids going to school, one of mine in high, another one in elementary, and then we've got about to turn 3-year-old, which will be starting pre-K soon. And Joey, I know your son's in daycare, so not the same concept as a high school, but still, your kid is
before I know it.
Right.
I don't even know where the last 15 months have gone. I'm like, holy cow, he'll be starting preschool in less than 2 years.
Yeah. But my thought is that everyone has kids or knows someone who has kids, loves a kid in their life. We can't keep letting this happen. And listen, yes, obviously this guy is a perfect example of a long history of bad acts. He's got, he was kicked out of the school. And then after he got kicked out of school, he got banned from the premises. And there's a couple of times he'd been thrown off and all these other crazy things. And his social media history was awful about, like, I'm going to get an AR-15 and shoot somebody. Like, he almost basically said that on his Facebook or Twitter. I don't remember which. And go figure, he turns around and does it. This is a 19-year-old who is obviously very, very troubled. But you guys remember, not too long ago, the worst one. I know they get mixed up, but the worst one we've ever had, the Vegas shooting, right? If you look at that guy's history, not really anything there. Maybe a couple possible questionable things, but not really a lot of big neon signs like this current kid who just shot up this school in Florida. Not a bunch of big neon signs saying, "Hey, look at me, I'm going to kill a bunch of people."
And then you had the Virginia Tech kid who shot up and killed, I think, what was it, 30 people or something? Yeah. There were red flags as far as in his writings. His psychology professor or his English professor or somebody saw his journals that he was writing and was like, hey, this kid, there's something troubling there. But yeah, you're right. The Vegas guy, there was no signs of anything.
Right. And outside of that, how many people every day are shot and killed by somebody else who's completely sane, who has no mental issues? They just got mad or they got scared or something like that happens and someone loses a son, a daughter, a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, a wife, a husband because someone just boom, pow, pow. That's all it takes.
I think the thing that we have to realize is that when we hear about these in the news, the reports start coming out almost immediately. We would have never thought this, or this person has showed no signs, or I was with this person all the time. They didn't see anything other than the few cases that say, hey, we did see red flags. But we as outsiders, we're not with these people 24/7. We're not around these people. We don't live with them. So we don't know or see. We only go by what reports say. And anybody can go on camera or get behind a microphone and say that they knew this person well, or they would have never thought this. But honestly, we don't know. So...
Right, but that's my point, is that mental illness, obviously, is not the primary leading cause of gun deaths. I mean, mental illness is definitely a factor, but it's not the reason why they all happen. What is the common factor? It's the guns. And listen, I love the Second Amendment. I believe in the right to bear arms. I really honestly believe you should be able to protect your family. But, and I'll ask this question, let's air it out, because I don't think we did it on the air. How many guns do you have, Joey?
I won't say this over there, but I am armed at my house.
Okay, you're armed at your house. Mm-hmm. Rebecca, you're armed at your house.
Yes,
I'm armed at my house. Right now, from the last statistic that I saw, there's 2-point-something, I don't have it in front of me, 2-point-something guns for every American citizen over the age of like 15 or 16 in this country. Do you have 2-point-something guns in your house?
Well, over the age of, you have to be 18 to buy a weapon.
You're right.
Right.
But they took the statistic of, because most of the, let's be honest, bad part of town single one-on-one gun violence crimes happen with males between the age of 15 or 16 and 25, 26 years old.
Right.
So that's where they took the demographic down to. There's 2-point-something guns for every American in this country.
Well, therein lies the question of, did those people purchase their weapons the right way?
Yes.
So
this one did. The Vegas shooter did.
Right.
The Orlando shooter did.
You mentioned the people in the inner cities that was
right. Sometimes they do, but you'd be surprised at how many actually do.
Right.
Actually do purchase a firearm legally.
A gun show or what?
A gun show or a dealer sometimes, because they don't have anything in their background. They don't have any mental illness history. They don't have any criminal history, but that doesn't stop you from forking out $350, going to the pawn shop, having a legal ID, having a quick background check, buying a gun, going down the street and shooting a house full of people. That doesn't stop you. I don't want to take guns away from people, but we have to have a very real conversation about this, because something you told me before we went on the air, Joey, was regardless of money, regardless of nationality, all of these other things, we're talking about human lives here.
Nick, I think you made a lot of great points, and I was actually taking notes of it. And there's so many ways to go and down this rabbit hole. The overarching theme this morning in the Santa Fe, as I'm dropping my son off at daycare, is looking in my rear view and looking at my son's face as he takes a quick nap before his day starts. And the thought of losing him just takes this to a place, and a personal place, of a place that I wouldn't have ever thought I could reach 2-3 years ago. And I think the biggest theme surrounding all of these deaths are the children. It's not about, to me, and this is just my take, it's not about the gun. It's about protecting the children. And all I can think about are the parents of these kids and the wives and husbands of the lost faculty and staff that lost their lives yesterday, and how they're getting up this morning and drinking that first cup of coffee, and how they're gonna.
I feel you. It's hard, especially when it hits close to home, in the sense that you think about your own kids.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and I'm usually I can pretty much hold it together a good portion of the time, but this one really hurts. And I know nobody down there. You know, I haven't posted anything on social media. I'm not a very public guy when it comes to feelings and emotions and stuff. I mean, I'm a Philly guy. Come on, what do you expect? But I think we need to start asking the hard question of, what's it worth to protect our kids? And, you know, many homeowners have security systems. Do they go off every day? No, they may never go off while you're an owner of a security system. But the premise is, when and if I need it, it will be there. And I think our children are such a valuable resource. You can't put a price tag on their safety. The gun debate will never end. It's a nonstop circle because it's all about virtue signaling on both sides. And both sides have good points. And I think all we're going to come back to is the same place where we began until the next one happens. And then the next one and the next one. And I think the solution is to have armed, not Paul Blart Mall Cop, but armed, tactically trained security at every school. And I know somebody is probably saying, there's no way we can afford that. Well, let me ask you a question. What's the price tag on human life? If we're able to rebuild roads and bridges, to travel to work, to drop our kids off at school, what are we doing if we're not talking about the people inside our cars, the people inside those buildings, and how important they really are, not only in our eyes, but the eyes of our Creator? And I think it's high time that we start thinking about solutions instead of talking points.
I think you're right. I think we do need to talk about solutions. But armed security, while I entirely agree, what are we talking here? Like so many security guards per so many, students and faculty, or is there some magic ratio, or is it one per school, or,
that's
or what are we going
question.
for?
I think we start at one per school.
And then
right.
While I agree with you, I do completely agree. There is no cost to put on any of it. But how do we pay for it?
We find ways to pay for things that we need. We find ways to upgrade government buildings when we really can't afford that.
Right.
And I think the next mural that we paint in Washington can be put on hold. The next overseas trip on Air Force One can be put on hold. I think there are a lot of wasteful programs that can be put on hold in light of the dire necessity of protecting the next generation of Americans, of all races, of all creeds, of all religions, all skin colors. None of that matters because we all bleed red. And I think right now, more than ever, we have to start thinking, and we don't need a solution tomorrow because we're not going to get it tomorrow, but we need to start thinking about solutions. You can't fight this problem by changing the Constitution. While I agree that mental health is a huge factor in this, it's so hard to diagnose. I mean, we can put our arms under an x-ray and reveal breaks in our, but the broken soul is so hard to diagnose. And I don't think it's reasonable.
If they even have a soul to begin with, because some people, the sociopaths, they have no conscience. They have no soul.
Right.
And that's a whole nother ballgame.
Yep.
And you got to wonder. And last night during dinner on Valentine's Day, the people that are going to look back every Valentine's Day from here on out, this is what they think of. They're not thinking of Cupid and arrows and chocolate hearts. They're thinking about the blood of their relatives spilled unnecessarily because of some lunatic. There's so much to this, and it's so ugly. CNN this morning talking about, well, why won't the Republicans come on CNN? Really? You're using this time
to be political?
To make this about your network? You're standing in puddles of blood of dead children and teachers and faculty to throw rocks right now? And I'm not just talking about CNN. I'm talking both sides. I'm done with news. I'm done with spin zones. I'm done with talking points. I am an avid supporter of solutions because now as a father, the S just got real. Yep. And the people that went to school yesterday never thought this is going to happen at my school. Nothing ever happens here. We're outside of Fort Lauderdale, for God's sake. But it happened. And those kids had no idea what was going to happen. I even thought about the family of the shooter. like what they're dealing with today, the stuff that they have to own as parents and relatives. Where did I fail? How could I have let this happen on some level, even though they didn't pull the trigger? What did I miss? There were YouTube videos, there's social media postings. The FBI was aware of this guy. President Trump saying, the kids need to get tell the faculty and staff about this. If you see something, say something. It was common knowledge in the school that this kid was not right. He was expelled for having bullet casings in his backpack. He wasn't allowed to carry a backpack because of said event. Why are we so afraid to see what we see?
I think it's the whole premise of you don't want to be that person that becomes the snitch or the narc, especially if it ends up being nothing. If it's
Right.
somebody's just talking and blowing smoke up somebody's rear end. They're not actually being sincere with what they're saying. You don't want to be that kid that gets known as, oh, you better not tell them anything, or don't be the nosy neighbor. Better not say anything around them because they'll go and they'll tell so and so. But we're afraid of we advocate, see something, say something, but yet but when it comes down to it, when it's in that moment, you don't, because you're afraid. And so you don't want to tiptoe around it, but you also don't want to be quiet about it.
Right, and I agree, but the only thing is that lots of people did say something.
Right.
In this
they
instance,
knew
yes.
about this guy.
Right.
They knew what was going on. And I hate to bring it back to the issue I made, but even with the FBI having him on a list, don't know what list, I don't know what lists they have, but he was on a list, and he was still able to walk into a gun dealership in the city he lives in and purchase an AR-15 rifle.
That's a problem.
Are we sure that he bought it legally?
Yes,
they
he
Okay.
purchased it legally at a local dealer.
Wow.
And then, I don't know how long he had it or anything, but then he amassed several magazines for the gun. He also bought a full military-grade gas mask and military-grade smoke grenades. I looked this morning, and you can buy a military M18 blue or gray smoke grenade on Amazon for $38.50.
That's scary.
Amazon Prime free shipping, by the way, in case you're into that kind of thing. It's not a gun. I get the premise. It's a smoke grenade. What's it going to do? It's going to go off in a school and set off fire alarms and make the kids walk into the hallway so he can start opening fire and killing people, because that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened.
20 minutes before afternoon dismissal.
He threw a smoke grenade. Someone saw the smoke and pulled a fire alarm because, there's smoke.
When there's smoke, there's fire.
And they pulled the fire alarm.
And in this case,
and
there
then
really was
everyone started to mosey out because it's a fire thing and whatever. We walk out, oh crap, there's smoke, now I'm nervous. And then through the smoke, pow, 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 and people just start dying.
And we're still learning about all the details, and things are going to come out months and possibly years from now that will help us put the pieces together. Right now, what I don't want to hear from the media, what I don't want to hear from any SRN host today, what I don't want to hear from these talking head pundits that are just looking for likes and shares, are pointing fingers. What I want to point to is an honest conversation about securing our schools, because when they happen in malls, that's different to me. When it happens in a school that you're required to attend in every state, apart from those who are homeschooled, when you're required to be there, you should be protected just like you're in a government building, a secure government building. And you know what? I'm willing to exchange, like I already have after September 11, 2001. I'm willing to exchange, and I'm willing to exchange my son's privacy for more security. I'm willing to exchange the thought of a well-trained man or woman at the door, where, by the way, we need to start thinking about limited entrances to these schools.
That's what I was thinking. I was listening to a talk radio show this morning on my way into work, and they were pointing out it's not just about hiring more security, because if you go to most any school, you're going to see cops, and there's actual, like, legit, not rent-a-cops, not Paul Blart, that what you're thinking. These are legit
full-blown
officers,
county sheriff's office.
That this is their beat. This is not, they're not out patrolling. They're on campus. But most of the time you won't see 30 plus. You might see one or two. But then when you look at the actual blueprint of the school's construction, there are 1,001 ways to get on campus from a regular street. Then you've got another 1,001 ways to actually get in the building. If you want to be able to protect the school in itself, the very foundation of where kids learn the majority of everything that they carry with them for the rest of their lives, you got to look at how do you get on campus. I'm not talking like we do Fort Knox, but there needs to be a level of security with outside the perimeter of the school, as well as limited entrances to get into the school building itself.
And we're gonna continue this conversation, but it's gonna be on demand. It's gonna be on wensworld.com. Folks, have a great day.